For the next several weeks, I'm going to be teaching a different skill, and I'm hoping that you'll start your own portfolio of items that you can refer back to. So for my series of Creating Joy, for the next several weeks, I'm going to be teaching a different skill, and I'm hoping that you'll start your own portfolio of items that you can refer back to. So when I was a young child, I took 4-H, and each week that we would go, we would learn a new skill, and then we'd make it, and then we would staple it to a piece of paper, and we would write down what it was that we made. So for this week, I'm going to show you, I'd like everyone to get a plain piece of paper and write Week 1, sewing, learn to sew 1/4 inch seam allowance. So this is what we're going to do today, and I encourage everyone, if you have plastic protector sheets, that you can put this inside of, and then you can put week 1 on one side, and then next week when we do the next one, you can put week 2 on the other, and that way you'll be able to refer to it. So when we sew, you're going to see, you could even take a measuring tape and measure this, and this is going to be 1/4 inch. And if you do any sewing on quilting or for different items, they'll tell you to either sew like 1/4 inch or a 1/2 inch. And this is just a good reference to remember, oh yeah, that's what a 1/4 inch seam allowance is. Okay, so this is for week 1, what we're going to be doing. So I'd like you to get 2 pieces of fabric. So these were just 2 strips that I had laying around. So if you have 2 scraps laying around, grab 2 and line them up. So first what we're going to do is put the right sides together. When I say the right sides, we're talking about the pretty side, okay? And the wrong side is the side that isn't the pretty side, okay? So the right side is the pretty side, the wrong side is the back side, okay? So put the right side together, and then on your machine, many machines will have it lined up for you, okay? On the Brother machine, right here, it will actually say 1/4 inch, okay? So depending on where your needle is, if your needle, this is the original place where the needle comes down, and if you line it up, then you'll be able to sew right as long as the edge of your fabric is right along this line as you're going up. Then as you're going up, you're gonna see where on my foot is that gonna line up, and for this, it's gonna be on the inside of this metal part, okay? So as long as the needle is right there, then you're gonna sew up, and it's gonna sew right there. So you have different markers that you can keep your fabric along, and I'm gonna show you how to do that now. Okay, so this is the fabric that I have. I have 2 5-inch squares. I'm going to take them and I'm going to line them up. So if you need to pin it, go ahead and probably put just 1 pin right in the middle. I'm just going to go ahead and eyeball it. Okay, so we're looking at it. So here's the line right here. I'm going to slide it up, and you want to start, so these right under here, these are called feed dogs, and they actually will pull your fabric under, and you need to put your fabric so it's just on, so it's on the feed dogs, and it's right a little bit past where the needle's going to come down. See, the needle's going to come down. So this is your presser foot. Put your presser foot, pull it down, so that put your foot down. Okay, some people like to push the button to put the needle down. You can do that if you want. Okay, and then to start, you're gonna, of course, push on your pedal on the floor, and you're gonna go about 3 steps, and then go ahead and do your back stitch, and do your back stitch about 3 stitches, or all the way back, and then go all the way forward. So we're watching this line along here. We want to keep it straight, trying to keep it right along this line, okay? And then at the end, we're going to back stitch again. So we're pushing it down to back stitch about 3 stitches. And then we're going to go forward all the way off and stop. Okay, then we push our needle up, put our presser foot up, pull out your thread, and then on the side of your machine is a cutter. And you cut it off, and you can cut off your top thread also. And there you have your quarter inch seam allowance. So go ahead and staple it onto your paper. Just staple one side on, and then on the other side, so you can see how this is stapled on one side. And then go ahead and write week 1 sewing, learn to sew 1/4 inch seam allowance, and you have page 1. Okay? Good job doing your 1/4 inch seam allowance. Now that you have done that, now I'd like you to practice and go ahead and sew some more fabric together. And the more you practice, the straighter your lines will get. Okay? And maybe you want to sew like, 3 sides of your next 2 squares together, and then you can turn it right side out and make a little bag, or you could even make a pillow. You could stuff it, and then you could hand sew the top together, or even just sew it down with your sewing machine, because this is just practice right now. We're just practicing a 1/4 inch seam so that you can get ready to do our next project. So we're going to be learning how to do some other things coming up. Okay, so remember to subscribe down below and share this with your friends that are starting to learn how to sew. Okay? Bye, see you next week.